Ever find yourself, kind of knee-deep in spreadsheets and code snippets when you're trying to make sense of an AI project?
Ooh, yeah. I've been there. It's like a maze of data.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
Right. But what if I told you there's this tool and it's designed to just clear out all that chaos and make your whole machine learning process super smooth?
Sounds like we're talking about mltraq.
Bingo. mltraq it is. Today we're doing a deep dive into this open source Python library that everyone's talking about in the AI world. From what I've seen in their docs, it's basically like a lab notebook on steroids, but specifically for AI.
It really zones in on a huge pain point for developers. Think about it. Every single tweak you make to your model, every experiment you run, it just explodes with data.
It's true.
And keeping track of it all, understanding those results, it gets overwhelming fast.
You're drowning in it.
Yeah.
Makes it tough to even know where to begin, let alone trying to work with a team on it.
Exactly.
But mltraq swoops in and says, hold my coffee.
Yeah.
One of the big things they're saying is that it's the fastest experiment tracking tool out there.
And that speed isn't just like a vanity metric. In AI development, faster iterations are king. That ability to track, analyze, and tweak on the fly can be what separates a good result from something groundbreaking.
It's like having a high-speed test track, but for AI models. Zoom, zoom, fine-tuning, finding that winning model so much faster.
Yeah.
But speed is just the tip of the iceberg. They're really big on making collaboration seamless too.
Which is mission critical when you have teams all over the place contributing to the same project. mltraq tackles this by giving you the flexibility to choose the database that fits your team best.
Okay, break that down for me. How does that database setup actually work?
So they've gone with SQLite as the default database. It's known for being super straightforward.
Makes sense.
Really great option if you're working solo or with a smaller team. But here's the kicker. They don't box you in with just SQLite. Need something more robust like a remote SQL database? mltraq can handle it.
So whether you're a lone wolf developer or part of a huge team, mltraq adapts. Gotta love that flexibility. And here's the icing on the cake. No vendor lock-in.
Right. They've made it a point to be open and flexible. You can interact with your experiments using the tools you're already comfortable with. Python, Panda, SQL, you name it. They're not pushing you to learn a whole new system.
They're like, hey, we want to make your life easier, not turn it upside down. And that kind of leads us to another important thing they emphasize, being lightweight.
And when they say lightweight, they mean minimal dependencies. You don't have to go installing a whole bunch of extra software just to get started.
Keep it clean.
Exactly. This makes it ridiculously easy to slide mltraq right into your existing projects. No headaches involved.
Okay, so we've got speed, collaboration, a lightweight design. But let's get a tad bit technical for those code wizards listening in.
Sure.
They use something called joblib.parallel for parallel processing. Now that sounds intriguing. Lay it on us.
All right, picture this.
Right.
You're working on a project, and you need to train your AI model on a massive, and I mean massive, data set.
Okay, I'm picturing it. Data sets the size of planets, maybe.
Pretty much. And this can take, hours, even days, if your processing power is limited.
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt. So how does mltraq swoop in to save the day?
This is where joblib.parallel comes into play. What it does is it lets you chop that huge task into smaller, bite-sized pieces. And then, here's the cool part, it processes those pieces at the same time across multiple cores or even multiple machines.
So it's like having a whole team of computers tag-teaming your project.
You got it. This drastically cuts down the total processing time.
And if you're already using distributed computing tools like Dask, Ray, or Spark,
Right.
mltraq plays nice with those too, right?
Absolutely. It's all about giving you those options, that scalability to wrangle even the most demanding AI projects.
So no matter how massive your data set gets or how complex your model is, mltraq's got your back.
Exactly.
Speaking of data sets, let's dig into how mltraq handles the actual data in these experiments.
Okay.
Because we are talking about potentially huge data sets here. How does mltraq keep those from becoming a bottleneck?
Well, that's where mltraq's design really shines. They've thought about both the small stuff and the really big data stuff.
All right, walk me through that. What's the strategy?
So for smaller data points, like booleans, integers, floats, even NumPy arrays, you can store those directly within the SQLite database.
Okay, so keep it simple for the smaller things. But what about those monster data sets, the ones that could bring a database to its knees?
They've got this really clever solution for that. It's called the data store interface. This is designed specifically for those supersized objects that you probably don't want to store directly in the database.
So it's like an external storage system, but it works seamlessly with mltraq.
You got it. You can keep your code, parameters, smaller results all within the main database, while those massive datasets live somewhere else, accessed through that data store interface.
Elegant solution.
And to make things even better, they offer optional compression. So if you're really serious about optimizing your storage, mltraq has you covered there too.
It's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked when I was going through the mltraq documentation was they included some really cool examples.
Yeah, those examples are great. They really bring those concepts to life, show you how to use mltraq in the real world.
There were three that really stood out to me. First, they have this example where you can define, execute, and even query an experiment using straight-up SQL.
Oh yeah, that's super handy for anyone who's comfortable with SQL. It gives you this direct line to interact with your experimental data. Very efficient.
Like having a direct conversation with your data.
Yeah.
Then there's this whole section on parameter grids.
Parameter grids, the key to really fine-tuning those AI models.
I have to admit, when I first saw parameter grids, I thought, ooh, sounds a bit intimidating. Can you break it down?
Of course, of course. So let's say you've got an AI model, and it has several parameters you can tweak, things like learning rates or the number of layers in a neural network.
Right.
Now, instead of manually going in and adjusting each parameter and then rerunning the entire experiment, a parameter grid lets you define a range of values for each of those parameters.
So rather than testing one combination at a time, you're testing a bunch of combinations all at once.
Exactly. And mltraq takes it a step further. It lets you run these parameter sweeps in parallel, meaning it can test tons of combinations simultaneously, which really speeds up that optimization process.
So it's like running a bunch of experiments concurrently, but in this super organized, automated way.
You got it. And here's the real kicker. You can pause and resume these parameter sweeps. So, life happens, you have to step away, but you don't lose any of your progress.
Talk about a lifesaver.
Yeah, okay.
Last example that caught my eye, the one using the iris flowers classification task.
A classic example. For those who don't know, it's this data set used all the time in machine learning to teach classification. The goal is to classify different types of iris flowers based on measurements of their petals and sepals.
Like the hello world of machine learning data sets, right?
Exactly. And what I really like about how mltraq uses it is that they walk you through that entire AI workflow, loading the data, preparing it, training a model, evaluating it, all while showing you how mltraq tracks every single step.
It's like they're saying, hey, here's a real world problem, and here's mltraq in action, making it smoother.
Exactly. Bridging that gap between, the theory and actually using it.
It really makes you think about AI experimentation in a whole new light. Organized, streamlined, no more spreadsheet struggles.
That's the power of mltraq. It takes care of all that organizational stuff so you can really focus on the creative analytical side of AI.
It's like having a personal assistant who lives for spreadsheets and organizing data.
And never forgets where you put that crucial parameter setting from your experiment 3 weeks ago.
Right, so as we wrap up our deep dive into mltraq, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
I'm all ears.
Imagine if you integrated mltraq into your workflow. How much faster could you move? How much more could you get done? It's exciting to think about.
It really is. And the best part is, since it's open source, there's nothing stopping anyone from trying it out.
Yeah.
See the difference it can make.
So to all our listeners out there, I encourage you to give mltraq a shot. Explore what it can do. See if it helps you unlock new levels of efficiency and innovation in your AI journey. Until next time, happy experimenting.